back to Uncomfortable Convos. It's your boy, the one with the scar on his face, your boy Scarface, and welcome back to another episode. Thank you guys for always all the support. On the podcast. I know you guys love it. I get feedback every week. I can't stress. I can't say you enough, right? But thank you guys. If you guys could leave me a thumbs up or a 5-star review wherever you're listening to it, this would it's definitely going to help the podcast. And shout out to everyone who does that already or has done that already. And then share with your friends, and for the people that want to continue to, support the podcast further than that, link is in the bio to buy merch, all sorts of stuff. We got pins, you name it. Everything's linked in the bio. And again, thank you guys for always supporting your boy. I love you guys. But today, I wanted to get into an episode just because I have done my fair share of dating baby mamas. And currently, my girlfriend right now has kids. So it's something that you have to balance out and like things you need to know going into this. And it can be both ways because I have a buddy who actually took full custody of his kid. And, like the mom is the one that's really not in the kid's life. So, it's something that they have to like. If you're dating someone, you have to be aware of that because, at the end of the day, for most parents, the kid should be the top priority. Okay. So I'm just, prefacing with that. But, I'll get into it, right? The first thing that you have to realize with a single parent is time constraints. Single parents often have limited free time between work, parenting, and other responsibilities. Their children will always come first, so understanding their time constraints shows respect for their priorities. Patient help builds trust and allows the relationship to grow at a natural pace. Now, if you're talking with a guy or a girl and they're getting upset at the fact that you don't have time for them, you're constantly like in mom mode, dad mode, like doing this, doing that, and they're just upset because like you don't have time for them, that's probably not the right guy for you or the girl, because they should know, hey, my kids are my top priority, and I'm going to put them first over anybody. So like if they have this to do, that's the top priority right now, because and the person you're talking to should understand that because they should know that you come after that because their kids are their world. Their kids, they're going to be with this person, or your kids are going to be with you forever, like until you die, right? Imagine them growing up and be like, oh, my mom would always ditch us for this person and then that person, like wouldn't really give us time. So there and another reason like the time constraint is huge is because they have to find a babysitter. So you can't tell them, hey, let's hang out tomorrow night, and then get mad when they say they can't because they can't find a babysitter. Like, they can't. This is why, like, if you're going, especially with their time constraints, you have to understand that you have to ask somebody who's a single parent with time to hang out. Hey, are you busy this weekend? Let's go and do something. And that's more. I'm sure they're gonna appreciate that more because now they're like, okay, let me see if I can get a sitter either for like Friday or Saturday or like sometime during the week, right? If you give them plenty of time and if they like you, they're gonna make the time and effort to try to see you, right? Or like try to get a sitter for the kids or kid, whatever the case may be. That way they can hang out with you, right? But you have to tell them a time. And also, like during the week, like if they can't talk to you or anything like that, they're doing stuff with their kids. Like you do not get upset with them because again, they're top priority. Like there's girls out here who single parents, I should say. Like that's because I'm trying to hit both single parents that put their kids in activities. So like whether it be like some sort of sports, dance, gymnastics, after school activities, or like they have to take them, they have to get them ready, they have to take them over there, give them a ride, do this, do that. Like, what makes you think that they just want to be there and be like, oh, hey, how's it going? Like talking to you or just ditching their practices or things like that just to come and see you and hang out with you. Like you have to realize that you have to give them time. They have time constraints because if their kids are a little bit older and they're after school activities, hey, what's up? Let's hang out on Thursday. I can't. My son has a game. Like, and then you're like, fuck, like, are you ever gonna give me time? No. Like, they're gonna give you time when they have time, not when you think you deserve that time. Again, so that's why, like, if you're someone that like wants someone to hang out like right away like that, you're going to have to, I mean, look for somebody who doesn't have kids. Like, just being honest. But if you do decide to talk to somebody who has kids, you have to understand that these come with that. You know, it's not something that that's not going to come with it. Like, it's coming with it, like whether you like it or not. So, and that's something that I've also learned. I've never been upset, like, oh my God, you got to give me time. Like, you never give me time. No, like my girl right now, she has kids, and those are our top priority. Like, her son is in after school activities, you know, and then the girls, like, she takes them there. They're also involved in other activities as well too. So it's not like, and it's just her. So it's not like she has somebody to help her take her, like, the kid somewhere and do stuff. Meaning, like, there's the baby daddies are not really there, right? If that makes sense. I mean, I'll have her tell her story whenever she's ready to share some of this stuff. Like, I'm not gonna, say what's going on. So, uh, but yes, you have to be aware of their time constraints and know that they're not just gonna, if I told her, hey, like, even when we hung out sometimes, I'm like, hey, like, what do you like, we should do this. She's like, no, my son has a meet, like a track meet. And I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh my, a track meet, really? Like, you're choosing the track meet? No, yeah, of course you're choosing the track meet over me. Like, duh. So again, if you're gonna be involved in a single parent, just know this is something that comes with it. The second one that I have is emotional baggage. Single parents may have experienced divorce, separation, or loss, which means they may carry emotional scars. Being patient allows them to heal and open up on their own terms without feeling pressured into running into anything. Now, I think everybody, not just single parents, come with some sort of baggage, meaning like there's still not 100% healed, maybe trauma, like, you know what I mean? Like, something. Uh, but you have to remember, I think the emotional part, like, factor in this is that they may be a little bit more stressed out because they have kids. So they're trying to manage their own life and manage the kid's life too. And if they have more than one kid's life, you know, and that can be stressful. Not only do you have to, like, uh, fulfill yourself, you have to fulfill the little ones, right? If that makes sense. So of course that's going to cause maybe a little bit more stress, because now you have to, like, do this, do that, especially if they're involved in after school activities. Shout out to the single parents who have multiple kids, or kids, like, or just a kid, and still able to, like, do all this stuff for them, and on top of that, still full-time job, and, like, and all this other stuff. So, shout out to you guys. But uh I feel like like in that area, it might be a little bit more emotional because divorce, people go through divorce, that are single, not single, and with kids, without kids, uh, separation, loss, like all that. It just, maybe when it happens, when you do have kids, maybe it's a little bit more intense because, say you suffered a loss, right? Now you have to deal with the kids, meaning, like, how did it affect them? Like, what are they going through? Not only do you have to grieve about it, like, you have to deal with them too, so it's not just like yourself. So that just makes the emotional, like, baggage, if you want to say that, a little bit more, right? So that one I didn't really want to touch too much on, just because, again, everyone comes with some sort of emotional baggage, whether it's like, because, again, nobody is perfect. We're not 100% perfect. We have our issues, we have our flaws, and I tell that to people all the time. I have my issues, I have my flaws, and I tell my girl that all the time, and I'm sure she has her issues and her flaws, which she tells me to all the time. So it's things you have to understand and just try to help them along with it. Hopefully we can get better from our issues, right? So just remember, it may be a little bit more intensified if they have kids. The next one that I have is building trust takes longer. Single parents are often protective, not just of themselves, but also their children. They may take longer to let someone new into their lives and introduce them to their kids. Patience is key in earning their trust and showing that you are serious about the relationship. Now, we all know that there's some parents out there who just introduces the next person to the kids, the next person, 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 right? Uh, but then there's also the parents who want want to build trust with you too. You know what I mean? Like everybody's different. There's no right or wrong way. You know, uh, I'm sure it does get a little difficult though, like when you introduce your kids to somebody, because again, it's happened in the past too for myself. Like get introduced to the kids, and then all of a sudden they grow on you, you grow on them, and then you separate. And not only like it's tough on the kids, right? Imagine like them building a special bond with you, and also then you guys separate, something that had to do nothing with the kid. And now I'm sure the kid is like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what happened? Like how come I don't get to see him anymore or her anymore? Like, what happened here? Uh, but so if you're gonna get involved with somebody with kids, just know sometimes they're gonna be overprotective to introduce you. Just because, again, there are creeps out there. There are people who are trying to hurt kids. Like you guys seen like these ladies who freaking murder kids and do all sorts of stuff to kids, torture kids, and guys who like also do the same, but also like freaking try to touch. Come on now, you know what I mean? Like, so that's why like I never want to come off as a creep. So like even uh like like my goddaughters and stuff, I kind of like I want to protect them at all costs, right? When they're with me. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, I don't want to be like alone somewhere with them, because I don't want somebody to think that like I'm because people who know me know I absolutely love kids. I would never hurt a child in my life. Like I'm overprotective of kids just because I love them. So they're so innocent. Like my nephew, like if somebody ever would hurt my nephew, best believe I'm throwing some hands, right? uh, just because I love the shit out of that kid. Uh, but so I understand that some parents want, and some single parents want to take their time to build trust with you, just so they know that they're not just introducing somebody who's going to hurt their kids. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's sad to say that there's some stories out there like where they get introduced to like somebody, and they're the ones that end up like sexually abusing the kids, and just things like that. And like I would, that just seems so heartbreaking, right? Like, because kids are so innocent. Like, I don't understand, like to someone with fucking common sense, obviously doesn't fucking understand that shit. But I'm very, very aware that it's out there. And I would want whoever I'm with 1000% sure that they want to introduce me to their kids. You know what I mean? So I'm never going to force it. I'm never going to be like, no, you have to. No, never. I want it to come naturally. I want it to be you building trust in me, saying, like, you know what? I'm going to introduce this person to my kids. So just know you're not going to be trusted overnight. Let them go at their own pace. Never force them either. So if you're gonna get involved with somebody, let them go at their own pace. And like once you build the trust with that person, and you always wanted to see them a little bit more, after they introduce the kids to you, guess what? They're gonna see you a little bit more, because now they're like, hey, like you're gonna be like, hey, let's bring them. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. So just putting that out there. The next one that we have is their child's needs come first. Being patient helps you navigate situations where plans may suddenly change because of their children's needs. Flexibility, understanding show that respect that role as a parent and aren't solely focused on your expectations. 100% true. So, for example, like I told you this before, uh, my girl and I, Ariana, we were gonna go to Las Vegas to go watch Fuerza Regida, which was amazing, by the way. But she couldn't leave right away because she said that she had to go to her son's meet first. Like she had to go to that first, and then she would leave. So she would be showing up later because she wanted to go to his meet first, and then she would come and see me. So, uh, and that's what I mean. Like their child comes first, and I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine, nothing wrong with that. Like I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, like you can miss it one time. No, no. If you want to go and you want to attend that, my respect. Go and attend it. So and just things like that. Like you need to know. Like and all like things change too. Like what if um maybe they had a babysitter and the babysitter canceled and now they can't go. Now you're gonna be like, oh. oh shit, like, okay, you also have to think about that that could happen. There are babysitters who freaking there's people who don't show up to work. There's people who call in sick to work. So what makes you think a babysitter's different? Like some babysitters be like, you know what, I can't after all, or hey, I'm not feeling too great. I don't want to be around the kids when I'm sick and things like that. So again, their child comes first. So if there's unexpected changes or if there's things that come up, like for example, if your kid wrestles and they have those long tournaments on Saturdays from like early in the morning until like about 3, 4, 5 in the afternoon, and then after that, if you've ever been to one, and even if you're not wrestling, fucking exhausting. Like being there all day, like obviously you're trying to be there for your kid, but it also is mentally draining, right? And so after that, some people don't want to go out and do stuff. They're just like, no, I'm just gonna relax at home. Like I'm tired. You have to realize, like, doing all this single parent stuff, people get tired, right? It's mentally draining, not just physically, mentally draining too. And you need to relax. So you have to be aware of that. So if they're gonna be choosing their child first, no matter what, like you just need to learn how to accept that shit. Like it's gonna happen, and you have to be okay with it going into a relationship with a single parent. Hey, I just took a drink out of my Stanley. Again, I never thought I was gonna be one of those guys that was like, "Eh, I'm gonna get a Stanley." Like, you see people with carrying their cup all over the place, and then I got gifted one. Game changer. I'm like, why didn't I buy one sooner? Like this shit it's the spill. I'm over here like an ad or something like that. Like it has the foldable straw where it's spill proof, like it doesn't spill. The way it keeps everything insulated and cold inside. Sheesh. Highly recommend 10/10. All right, so the next one that I have is developing a relationship with their child. If the relationship progresses, building connection with their child is just as important as connecting with them. Patience allows the relationship to develop naturally, as rushing it could create tension and negatively affect their entire dynamic, right? So the first step is building the trust to being able to meet their kids, right? And then after that is gaining their trust in knowing that you have their best interest. You want to protect them. Almost like, treat them like your kids, right? So, and you have to develop a relationship with them. Just because you're the man now in that relationship, the boyfriend, husband, doesn't mean you automatically build relationships with them. Like sometimes it takes time. You know, uh, say like one of the kids is just like, nah, fam. Like, you've seen it in movies like, you're not my dad, and stuff like that, right? Uh, and so it happens in real life too. It's not just like on TV shows, movies, and stuff like that. You have to develop relationships, and even if they're a little like they push you away in the beginning, it's because they don't know you. They just think that you're bad intentions or like, oh, I don't want you to replace my dad, like and stuff like that, right? Like you've seen these in movies, right? But it's just building a relationship there and knowing that they can trust you. You're here to stay. You're the best interest. You're not here to control them or anything like that. Like you're just there to be someone they can come to if they need anything, right? Um, so, but you have to develop those relationships. Just because you entered this relationship does not give you like does not mean that you instantly develop relationships with them, right? Like sometimes some of them take longer to build a relationship with because they're very like no like hesitant to like nah the last person left, like they and like so they're little like keep their boundaries up. So uh, just know that you do have like, and it's gonna be patient. You have to be patient. It's not gonna be overnight. They're not just gonna be like, oh my god, like I want you, I need you, like well, not I want you, I need you. More like you're the person. Like I'm glad you came into our life. Like we trust you 1,000%. Like stuff like that. So patience, like all this mainly is just patience, right? Patience, patience, patience. So uh the next one that I have is a slow pace for their comfort. Single parents may want to take things slower to ensure the relationship is stable before fully committing. Being patient reassures them that you're willing to go the distance and respect their boundaries. And we talk about this on the TikToks all the time is be patient. Like if you want to make the guy wait or the girl wait, well, it's mainly the guy wait, but make him wait. Like if he's really interested in you, he's going to wait. The ones that like if that's all he may have wanted, and like say I'm talking about hooking up, they'll probably leave. You know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna be like, oh, like, I need this. I like we need to do this. Like, oh, like why haven't you given? No. And same with building a relationship with a single parent. It's gonna take time, And if someone who is actually really interested in being with you is going to be like, okay, like I get it. Like you're really hesitant. There's kids involved, like X, Y, and Z. I'm, I get it. I get it. I'm willing to, you know, we'll take things slow, and there's nothing wrong with that. So just know that some things may take slow. Like they just want to be able to know that they can trust you, that you're not just like messing around with them, that you're here for the long haul because obviously the kids are involved, so it's gonna be difficult. So it's gonna be difficult, not in a. It, what I mean is difficult is like you have to be aware because don't get me wrong, I like to see my person all the time. Well, not all the time. Like, hey, let's do this, cool. Let's do this, cool. Like, but I totally understand. Like, say something came up, I'm like, hey, let's go do this. Oh, I can't because, um, like, say something they're doing something for the kids. You know, in your head you could be like, dang, like I wish I could, uh, we could go do this, but I get it, right? But there's some people who get mad over that shit. So, again, slow things slow. Like, no, there's no rush. You don't need to be in a hurry. If they try to hurry you, push you, like to make things happen quicker, uh, it could be that they're just trying to like they're gonna be in and out. You know what I mean? In and out. And the last one that I do have is blended family consideration. Single parents often consider how a new partner fits into their existing family dynamic. This requires careful thought and patience to avoid disruption in the child's routine or emotional well being. And so, again, remember how we talked about kids first? Kids are always first. Their kids are always first. So they're thinking about all sorts of stuff. Is this person gonna like does it make sense to bring them into my world, right? Does it make sense to introduce them to the kids? Am I confident enough? Do I trust them enough? Because again, like for example, you've seen it in stories, articles, movies, TV shows. The somebody lets a new guy into the family, and at the end of the day, like this was the person hurting the kids, in the long run. You know, now the kid is traumatized, and there's nothing you can do or say. Even if you break up with this person, the kid still went through that, and there's nothing you can really do or say to like help with this trauma. Now they just have to deal with this shit, and this all could have been avoided. What I mean? Like if you would have been super cautious in the beginning, actually seen like how this person is, how they interacted with the kids, and then also like even uh believe in the kids. You know how sometimes like some of these kids will say something, hey, so and so is like does things to me that's or like hey, or they make them. It's just very difficult because there's some people who kind of brainwash the kids to be like, if you say anything, like we're both gonna get in trouble, you're gonna get in trouble, like we're not gonna see each other, like you're gonna get hurt, your parents are gonna get. So it's like super difficult. But if anything, it would just be taking some time and because and bringing this person in, right? And then also another thing that you have to consider is like the whole blended family. Now you have to introduce these kids into your family, meaning like uh for example, like I'm just going to use an example because obviously it's going to happen eventually. Like introducing my girl's kids to my family, right? How is that dynamic going to work? Like again, my mom absolutely loves kids. Uh so like that's why I'm like I think everything would go great. Of course, in the beginning it might be a little weird because you're bringing these kids that uh they're not really familiar with, if that makes sense, because they just met them, right? They're not going to be like from overnight be like, oh yeah, these are my grandkids or something like that, right? So you have to like it's gonna take time, but you have to also be know that hey, like these are the kids that I want to introduce to my parents, right? And so and just things like that. Like you have to consider these things. You have to think about these things, and because again, if you're taking this person serious, this eventually is something that you're gonna be a part of, like, and you're gonna have to do eventually. So if you feel like because there's some parents out there who are just like that, like no, like uh, why are you taking care of somebody else's kids and stuff like that? There's parents who do that all the time. So it's just something you have to be aware of and be considerate of. So uh, I've personally, like I said, dated single moms. And one, they're the freakiest. Two, they're the freakiest. And three, they're the freakiest. No, and so I've seen like the different things like that. Because for the most part, the single moms are all similar, on the way their kid is their top priority and things like that. But they're all a little bit different. I'm gonna throw this one out there. Like, if you get mad, I don't give a fuck. I'm talking about an ex. Like one time, her kid was in the back seat, right, and we were driving, uh, and he had his toys and everything, and she got mad at me because like he was trying like playing with the toys, throwing the toys, and then his mom told him not to do something, and like he kept like he was trying to hit her, and then finally when I realized that he was about to hit her, I was like I screamed. I didn't scream his name. I just said it loud. I was like, "Hey, no, don't hit your mom." All I did was tell him not to hit his mom, and she flipped out saying I should never raise my voice to her child. That is not my child. And I was like, "You need to chill the fuck out." Uh, I was like, "So you would rather have him smack the shit out of you with a fucking toy, like that's okay to do, than for me to be like, hey, no, don't hit your mom with that toy." Like, and because it was like one of those reactions where like I turned and I see it happening. So it's like, hey, no, no, don't hit your mom with that toy, you know? And she got mad up about that. And I was like, whoa, like you need to chill the fuck out. Like, I didn't like yell at him. I just basically said, hey, don't hit your mom with that toy. I tell the same shit with my nephew. You know what I mean? Like my sister's never been like, uh, don't yell at your nephew or don't yell at my son. She's even like, listen to your fucking uncle. Like that's how like she should have been like, yeah, like no, that you're not supposed to hit people with toys because not saying anything, getting mad at me, that's just enabling him to be like, oh shit, like I didn't get in trouble for smacking the shit out of her. So but that's what I mean. Like it's a weird place to be in because like I don't want to be that person to like this is how you parent your kid. No, because I don't know. I don't have any fucking kids. Uh, but I do know what the difference from right and wrong. Hitting somebody with a toy is wrong. So I'm obviously gonna be like, don't hit your mom with the toy. And there's some parents out there who are over like you can't even say nothing. Like ladies, if you're gonna get involved with a man, like I get it if they like are mean to your kid or anything like that, totally 100%. But if it has to deal with right and wrong, wouldn't you want to be like, yeah, don't hit me with the toy. Hitting kids with the toys is bad. Hitting adults with the toys is bad. So I definitely had to put that out there. I know some people who listen to it is gonna know exactly who the fuck I'm talking about, but that's okay. Cause why? Cause I don't give a fuck, to be honest. Like I never said her name, so uh, but yes, I definitely wanted to do this episode because again, this is something that is going to happen in this dating world, especially if you get the older you get. The older you get, it's going to be really difficult to find somebody without kids. If that's something you're looking for. Again, I never said like the next girl that I date or anything can't have kids. I was like, if she has kids, cool. Like, if she doesn't have kids, that's cool too. Now, if like we're talking about like 5 kids, I would have been like, I don't know about that, dog. You know what I mean? I'd be like, you got a whole basketball team there, buddy. So, but just know, hopefully you can send this to whoever, or hopefully like these clips get to the right people and are able to like open their eyes when it comes to dating a single parent. So Again, I know this episode came out a little late, but thank you guys. Every week we come out with a new episode, and shout out to everyone who comes from the TikToks. I really do appreciate you. You guys motivate me every week to do podcast episodes. Again, got a lot of things coming. It just more it's more the fucking scheduling. The scheduling is the hard part, and these past few weeks have been fucking insane for me. Right here, there. Now I don't have a trip for a little bit until I go to Austin, Texas. So I still have some time maybe to schedule in some guest podcasts in there in between those times. So we'll see. But again, I want to thank you guys for listening, tuning in every week, and again, give this a video thumbs up, 5-star review, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you guys.